Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. My name's Jack, this is Jthbooks, and it is time that we discuss my most anticipated LGBTQ plus books for the second half of the year. So I made a video for my most anticipated books of the first half of the year. Now we're going to do the second. I'll link the first half down below because if you haven't read them, you can still read them. I haven't even read all of them, so, you know, no one's surprised. You're not surprised. I'm not surprised. No one's surprised. But the point is, I am looking forward to them, and it's very much for the same for this video. Although I will say I have gone less. I've only gone for 15. I know I've seen some people do 30 plus, but if I really want them to be anticipated, then I actually really want to read them. I don't just want to be like, oh, I want to read it and then never even buy it, because that's what I've done before. So I have only gone for 15. Some of the ones I am lucky enough to have proofs of already. Some proofs are coming in the post. Some of these books I've got pre-ordered. One I'm struggling to pre-order, which is maybe my most anticipated, but we're going to go in order. So we're going to go from July to December, because there is one in December, so long wait. But let's crack on and talk about these brilliant books that I'm so looking forward to. So first up, coming out on July 11th, which actually isn't that far away, is The Sea Elephants by Shastri Akella. I'll put the cover up here for you. I'm so excited for this book. It's the one I am sort of struggling to get hold of, even though I think it's my most anticipated book for the rest of the year. So I haven't got long to wait. Well done me. And this is about a boy who is trying to get over the death of his twin sister, and he can't be the boy that his father wants him to be, so he gets sent to a boarding school, an all-boys boarding school, and from there he joins a travelling theatre group, sort of performing the Hindu stories he grew up reading. And there he meets a man, they fall in love, but he can't quite get over the past, and it all comes to the front. And I am so unbelievably excited for this. I've seen some reviews and people are saying it's 5 stars, and I think the cover is absolutely gorgeous, and I cannot wait to have this book in my hands. I have a feeling it's gonna be one of those ones that wherever I'm reading, I will just drop it and I will read this book. I'm so excited for this one. Next up is one I do have pre-ordered. I have 2 copies pre-ordered because I've sent one to my friend because we both want to read it. And it is The Love of Singular Men by Victor Herringut, translated by James Young. Now this one also comes out on July 11th, so it's a very good day for books in my life. Now this book is set in the 1970s in a Brazilian summer, and it just sounds so good. It is about 2 teenage boys who fall in love, and it's their first love, but then an act of violence shatters their whole world. And it is about these boys dealing with Brazilian society and first love and getting over loss and grief and revenge. And I just think it sounds absolutely exquisite. I was in London recently and Foyles had early copies out, but because I pre-ordered it, I didn't buy it. But I did, I had a little look, and I just cannot wait. I think it's going to be absolutely brilliant. So next up, coming out on July 20th, is How to Die Famous by Benjamin Dean. I've read all of Benjamin Dean's books before, his 2 middle grades and his first YA, and they were all 5 stars for me. So I'm anticipating another 5 star here. I am so excited for this one. And this is about a boy who has landed his dream role of a lifetime, but it turns out he's actually an undercover journalist, and he is trying to expose his co-stars and figure out what happened surrounding his brother's death. It's a YA, think sort of Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I am so, like I said, they've all been 5 stars, so I'm ready for another banger from Benjamin. Just give it to me, please. So next up is one I have a proof of, and it is Out of Touch by Henry Hoke. Now, this comes out on July 27th here in the UK. I know in the US it's already out, but for me, we have to go by UK dates because that is where I live. And this is about a queer mountain lion who sort of just watches over the people hiking and just sort of keeps himself to himself. And then as the novel goes on, he has to decide whether he wants to be a human or to eat. Doesn't it just sound like magic in a book? I've said this before about this book. It's just the kind of book, the kind of story that will only work in a book. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Can't wait. Out July 27th. I'm coming out on August the 11th. There's another one I'm lucky to have a proof for, and it is Learned by Heart by Emma Donoghue. This story is based on a true story, and it is about Eliza Rain, who is at a boarding school and keeps herself to herself until Anne Lister, we all know who Anne Lister is, comes in, and it's about the 2 girls ultimately falling in love. I cannot wait to see the fictional story of this. It has letters in it that they address each other in the future, as well as being told the story of when they first met. I think it's going to be absolutely incredible. I've heard it's quite heartbreaking, so I have a feeling it's going to make me cry, but most books do, as you know. But August the 11th, can't wait for this one. Then coming out on August 13th, so pretty close to the last one, we have New Adult by Timothy Janowski. So I've read his 2 previous novels and I absolutely love them both, so I'm very, very excited for this one. So this is about Nolan, and he wants to be a successful stand-up comedian, but he's nearing 30. It hasn't quite worked out the way he wants. So when his best friend agrees to be his date for his sister's wedding, because he doesn't want to go alone, he then gets the chance of a lifetime and takes it, stands his best friends up, misses the wedding, and then once he's had a taste of that, he wishes on crystals that's what his life could be like, and he wakes up 7 years in the future. He's successful, he's got everything he wanted, but none of his family are returning his calls. So it does sound a little bit out there, but like I said, I've loved this author's 2 previous works, so I'm definitely willing to give this one a go. I hope it's going to be romantic and just everything. It's everything I want it to be, just like his 2 previous novels, because they were everything to me. Next up, coming out on September 5th, we have Wound by Oksana Vasyakina. Now, this story follows a young lesbian poet on her way from Moscow to Serbia to bury her mother's ashes like she promised she would. And it's a little look back at her life, really, and it's the story of her queer and artistic awakening. I'm so excited for it. I think it sounds absolutely brilliant. Obviously, I'm excited for all these books. I know I keep saying it, but just let me have my excitement. Don't get mad. And this book is meant to be a look at queerness and love and loss and her country and just life. I'm ready. I'm ready to be floored by this book because, high expectations. Maybe don't have too high. Just let it be anticipated, not flooring, you know. And then on September 9th, I'm very lucky to have an early copy of this one too. We have Out of Touch by Michael Ciaras. Now, this is the story of Vincent, who accepts a friend's request from someone called Teddy, who lives in Australia, and it changes both their lives, and they absolutely fall for each other. And this is a look at whether their relationship can survive the obstacles of distance and time and all the general things life throws in their way. I'm so excited for this. I loved Michael's previous book, All My Friends Are Rich. And this book spans from like 2008 to 2020, so it's going from like young adult to new adult. I'm very, very excited for this one. Out on September 9th. You can pre-order it now. You can pre-order any of these books now, just to clarify. Then coming out on October 10th, we have Family Meal by Brian Washington. Now, Brian Washington wrote Memorial, one of my favourite books, so I'm very, very ready for his new book. Now, this is about Cam, who's living in LA, and he's on his own after the love of his life has died, but the love of his life's ghost won't leave him be. He can't escape it. So he moves back to Houston, and there he is immediately put back in his best friend's life, and they haven't seen each other a long time. And it's about the story if they can get over things that have happened in the past and if they can save their friendship. Now, Brian writes so beautifully. He writes such intricate stories and characters. I'm so ready for this book. I'm nearly saying I want to be floored by it again, but again, expectations, keep them low. But am I ready for this one? I'm hoping to get a proof. They've said they'd send me a proof, so as soon as that is in my hands, that baby will be read. But out on October 10th. Next up, on September 17th, we had Mudflowers by Ailey Waterman. Now, this is about Sophie, who, after her mum has died, she's just trying to get through life. She's making art for rich people she doesn't really want to make. She's living with her best friend and sometimes lover, a man named Alex. And then she meets a poet called Maggie and just begins this bewildered infatuation. But as they get to know each other, secrets start to emerge, and it's things that threaten everything that means something to Maggie and Alex. I just think this book sounds absolutely beautiful. I hadn't even heard of it before I was researching, because I do actually do research for these videos. I know it probably doesn't seem like it, but I do. And I hadn't heard of it before I was researching it, and I just think it sounds absolutely brilliant. It's set in Toronto, and we get to see some of the Toronto queer scene, so just, come on, just give it to me, someone, please. Next up, coming out also on October the 17th, is 10 Things That Never Happened by Alexis Hall. Now, I have to say, this one sounds a little bit, but it's by Alexis Hall. I really, really enjoy them as a writer. We'll forget husband material. But everything else I read of theirs, I really, really enjoyed. So when they've got a new book coming out, it's going to be on the list. I'm sorry, it has to be. It has to be. Now, this book is about Sam, who runs a bed and breakfast, but he doesn't get on with his boss, Jonathan. Jonathan believes he never should have hired Sam, and he decides to fire him, so invites him to London. And on the way to London, Sam trips, falls, and then fakes amnesia so he doesn't get fired. You see what I mean? It sounds a little bit. But through this, they both grow closer. but Sam starts to feel guilty for making Jonathan feel guilty. But, you know, romance is going to ensue. It's Alexis Hall. I really, really enjoy them, so I am willing to give this a chance. Alexis Hall will always be on the list if they've got a new book coming out. But I'm going to have to wait and see about this one. But you know me, I'll probably love it. I think it's the best thing I've ever read. Now, next up, coming out on November the 7th, is The Manor House Governess by C.A. Castle. I'm very excited for this one. I follow the author on Twitter, and they've been talking about it for a long time. And the more they talk about it, the more excited I get. So I had to have this one on the list. And this is about Bronte Ellis, who has grown up in a all-boys boarding school, and they're not allowed to express their gender identity until they are offered a live-in position at Greenwood Estate as a live-in tutor. And they are fully accepted there, and they are part of this new lavish lifestyle. The only person that doesn't quite accept it is the eldest son, Darcy. But then when a fire rages through the estate, secrets are revealed, and Bronte doesn't know what to do about his growing attraction to Darcy, being that they're complete opposites. Now, like I said, this one has been on my radar for a very, very long time, so I am very much looking forward to this one. I can't wait. November 7th, can you please hurry up? Next up, also on November 7th, we have Emmett by L.C. Rosen. Now, I'm a bit of an L.C. Rosen stan. As you all know, I own most of their books. Very, very excited for this one. Now, this is sort of a gay YA retelling of Emma by Jane Austen. This is about Emmett, who's very blessed and lives a wonderful lifestyle. And when Harrison, the boy Emmett is sleeping with, wants to fall in love, Emmett tries to find him a boyfriend so he doesn't have to be it. But as he tries to do this, Emmett realises he might not know as much about love as he thinks he does. Now, I think romance is good and so think sort of gay Bridgerton. If you love Bridgerton out there, I don't, but I'm still excited for this book. But I read it, like I said, I'll read anything L.C. Rosen writes. So just, please, can I just have it now? I don't want to wait. Oh, don't be whingy, Jack. No one likes that, do they? Then coming out on November 9th, so 2 days later, is Bookshops and Bone Dust by Travis Baldry. Now, this is about Viv, whose life as a mercenary has not gone to plan, and she is now stuck injured in a town called Merk, longing for the action that she's trained for. But it turns out the town of Merk has some dark secrets, and there's a suspicious traveller, and a gnome with a chivalrous soldier, and a summer fling, and it turns out Viv is not as far from the action as she thinks she was. Now, obviously, this is by the hugely popular author Travis Baldry, who wrote Legends and Lattes. This, I believe, is set 20 years before that, so I'm just ready. I'm ready for this. I'm very, very lucky to have the proof copy as well. I know I am. I know. But November 9th. Then lastly, on December 5th, we have Yours for the Taking by Gabriella Korn. Now, in this book, it's 2050, and Ava and her girlfriend are living in Brooklyn. And Brooklyn is not what it wants. The world is not what it wants due to climate change. And the only people that are likely to survive are people that get into the Inside Project. Now, in this book, you also get the perspective of Jacqueline, who runs the Inside Project, and then two people one that works for Jacqueline and one that is a bit obsessed with her. And I just think this sounds absolutely brilliant. I love a book with multiple perspectives, especially when they all interconnect. And it's another one I didn't know about until I was researching this video, and I just think it sounds absolutely incredible. It feels a little bit dystopian, a little bit sci-fi, so you know I'm absolutely ready for it. So that is it. That is my 15 most anticipated books. Now, of course, there are so many more that I could have put onto it. You've got Heartstopper Volume 5 coming out. You've got Forget I Told You This by Hilary Zaid. You have Falling Back and Be in Love with Human by Kay Cheng Tong. You have The Bell in the Fog by L.C. Rosen. See, there are so many. I'll leave like a list down below if you want to check out more, but these are the ones that I'm really can't wait to get my little mitts on. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you found some books you didn't know about, or I've made you so excited for ones you already are. Just let me know if you're going to read any of these, or if there's a book you think I'll love in the comments. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell, and I'll speak to you all really soon.